Bonus episode, secondary break, four corners, wherever you want to call us, all things Carolina basketball. And it's a special day. Now, again, anybody that's watching this is just kind of like a passion project. Me and my brother-in-law started talking about Carolina hoops, and I am biased, but one of my favorite all-time Carolina Tar Heels, I'm proud to call him a buddy, a pal, Mr. Kenny Williams, 3-year starter, national champion, team captain, like just a laundry list, a winner, and one of the nicest guys that I've been able to get to know on a personal level throughout the programs, kind of joining us, hanging out. Kenny, man, thanks for making time, brother. I know that you're still playing. You're in your career. You've been playing games and traveling across God knows what. You've been on buses and cashing checks, and I'm sure hitting a bunch of jump shots, and you're taking time to talk Carolina hoops, man. So that just shows you how you feel about the family.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you having me. Anytime I can talk about a little bit of Carolina basketball, I'm always down.
Well, first of all, we'll do a health check. Like, how are you doing? Do you even know what time it is? I feel like it might be 3 a.m. for you.
Yeah,
You've been playing ball. You're still hooping. Like, how you feeling right now?
I feel good, man. I actually just got back from a game. It's 3 a.m. now. I played tonight, and luckily it was one of my better games of the season. We pulled out a win, and it's tough. It's tough to win on the road here, anywhere in Europe, but especially here in Greece. So we went
Yeah.
on the road. We got a tough win, and we moved up in the standings, up to third in our league. So I'm doing well, man. Everything's good, and I kind of throughout the season, I kind of have my checkpoints, and now I'm on the downside. I can kind of see, things starting to ramp up, and games starting to mean a lot more, and
Yeah.
you can see the summer coming up also. So that's the positives, and you got to see the positives and everything.
Well, I, on a very remedial basis, played a little bit of professional basketball over in Germany. So if your team's moving up in the standings and you're playing pretty well, I'm just glad to know that check's clearing, because sometimes
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes
yeah, brother.
sometimes like, wait a minute.
Every month, you got to make sure.
Yeah.
For sure, for
Well,
sure.
welcome to the show. I know that you weren't able to catch the game because you were playing yourself. Your boys and our boys got it done at Boston College. Like you said, speaking of, it's hard to win on the road. You know firsthand, it's really hard to win on the road in conference, especially in the ACC. You got a chance to play with some of these guys in the summers. Do you have any thoughts? Have you been able to watch the team? Like, for me, just as a fan and someone that grew up on Carolina basketball, I haven't been this excited probably
Mhm.
since one of your classes. I mean, you guys had an incredible 4-year run. I think I could be wrong with this. Weren't you in Luke May's class
Yeah, me and Luke came
yeah,
together.
you guys were together. I mean, you guys won a lot of games, and there's some real excitement around this program right now, which is really, really, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's really refreshing, man, to see a team and see the product that they're putting on the floor. It hasn't been the brightest
Mhm.
days
Sure.
the past couple years, and uh, you know, aside from the March run we made a couple years ago,
Yeah.
you
Which
just
sort of kind of came out of left field. Like that was we're an
yeah,
8 seed, and we just start running through
yeah,
folks. And big shout out Brady Manick. I don't think he gets enough credit in that run. He was an incredible
for sure,
component for that
for sure.
team. But yeah, that was a little out of left field. I mean, that was a very tough year for the program and for the fans
Yeah.
leading up to that incredible. And I think that's what's great about March Madness. Like, you just
Mhm.
never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's the magic of March, man. You can get a team that gets hot, and all you gotta do is get hot for 6 games. And unfortunately, we got hot for 5.5. But
Right. Right. Yeah.
that's the great ride that you go on in March, or that you're able to go on in March. And it's just, it's one of the things that you just gotta try to enjoy it as much as you can in the moment.
Mhm.
Um, but just going back to this team, man, it's really refreshing to see how they play, to see how they fight. Um,
Mhm.
don't get me wrong, the teams the last couple of years have had fight. It's just
Sure.
some of the
Sure.
execution has been lacking
Mhm.
to the level that you want it, to where they're able to pull those games out. Now you see, you got, bring in a lot of experienced guys that are hungry to win, haven't won uh, as much as they wanted to at the previous spots they've been at.
Mhm.
So everybody, I think, just came together and are, focusing on that one goal is winning as many games as they can. And you can kind of see it in the summer. I spend my summers in Chapel Hill the whole summer, just working out and things. And you can see it in practice, man. Like the practices were super competitive, super physical. It was a turn from summer practices that I'm used to, because, just speaking on my years, we had super experienced teams, we had older teams. So the summer practices were really introductory to get, the 2 or 3, 4 new guys rolling, or introducing them into what we want to do and how we want to play. But this summer, man, it was all out. It was all out, man. You got guys on the ground. Guys are just battling. I think you see that spirit in the games that they play. Even the games that they lost, it's like you don't really feel like they're out of it. All it takes is a couple stops and a couple made shots, a couple good offensive possessions, and they can take a lead or they can get themselves back into a game. And that's the best thing that I think about this team, is that they compete to a level that you can appreciate it, whether they win or they lose. Because nobody's going to go undefeated. Teams are going to lose games, but you just want to know that the guys are giving everything that they have, win or lose. And, I think that's the spirit of this team. I think they've taken on HD's personality, because I think everybody's seen how competitive he is and how animated he is when it comes to the game of basketball. So, it's just nice to see. It's nice to see, you go. I even was telling one of my family members, for not this game, the last game, I think it was Louisville, and it was a 9 o'clock, I think, start, 9 o'clock tip, and it was 3. And I think I had a game the next day, so I couldn't watch it. And I'm just like, I woke up and told him, man, it's a great feeling to be able to, wake up in the morning expecting to win. Like, because they could have easily slipped. That game could have easily slipped through their hands the last couple of years. So it's just, you're getting that Carolina swagger back, where it's like, okay, we know that we're not going to win just because we're Carolina, but we're going to do what we do, and we're going to impose our will, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I think that's the best part, is, as players, they're getting that swagger back. As fans, we can kind of get our swagger back and start to talk our junk and go and walk around with our chest held, our chest poked out and whatnot. So, I mean, it's a good feeling, man. And I saw it in the summer. But it's to see it, that work and being put into fruition now on the court, and getting the results that we want, man. I can't ask for more. I mean, we're ranked number 4 in the country, and it doesn't look like they're slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, we've got a tough 3-game stretch ahead of us. I think we have Wake Forest at home on Monday, and then Florida State on the road, and then another challenging, I think, at Georgia Tech as well. So I think we've got 3 big games leading into Duke at home. So it's, it's ACC, and you know it better than anybody. There's no real easy games. They're all going to be challenging. There's a reason that that's the cream of the crop. And in my opinion, along with the history, the best basketball conference in America. And I think, there's a reason why teams have to bring their A game to win, no matter where they're playing. So it's going to be good. Now, you played with the guys in the summer. Like, what stood out to you, or any guys, or any, like, I'm just in awe of how strong Harrison Ingram is, and the ways that he impacts the game outside of just scoring. He can guard. It seems like he can guard 1 through 5 on the college level, which, that's an asset to be able to switch out. Sometimes Baycott, like if he's stumbled and let's say he's battling underneath and he can't get back in time, Harrison will just pick the postman up and prevent him post position at like the free throw line and like battling, which is something that you obviously teach the bigs, but you don't necessarily teach that to the wings, and he does it instinctively. That's not going to show up in any kind of scouting report or any interview, but like it's really cool to see guys do that. And I guess it's the experience of him playing, and then obviously Carmack has got 100+ games and 100+ starts. He was a Stanford guy, and then, which by the way, One of your best games that I loved watching was against Stanford. I think like 4
Yeah.
threes in the first 30 seconds of the game.
Yeah.
That was a nice game. And then Notre Dame. So like, what guys stood out to you this summer? Because it's really cool to watch. You know, you never want to see. I love college basketball because you start to get to know the kids and you get to pull for them. It's nice to see these new guys come in and immediately, I love this team. I love these guys. What stood out to you?
I mean, those two. I mean, we can talk on those two first,
Sure.
because they're the newer guys. You know, Harrison is just an ox. He's strong. He's big. He's smart. So you got, and he's willing to do the things that not everybody wants to do. You know, he had a 19 rebound game the last week, I think, or at NC State, and that's like Harrison's really a three-man, and to get 19 rebounds at 6'5", 6'6" is absolutely insane, especially in the ACC game.
I mean, he had 11 and 13 today.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane, his rebound numbers. But the best teams have guys like that, and where it's like early in the season, he was shooting the ball at a crazy pace. He was scoring however he wanted to, and naturally, like, teams are going to start to scout for that. So his scoring has dipped a little bit, but he doesn't necessarily need to score all the time. He doesn't need to. If he continues to do what he does and stays within his box where he just does whatever he can to help win, then I think that'll help us a lot more than if he was going out and trying to get 20 points every game. And I think that's what he settled into. And that's where you see the 19, 13 rebounds every game. And he's just that guy. He's glue, X factor, whatever you want to call it. That's Harrison, and he's done it. He's done an exceptional job with it so far this year. And then, you know, Cormac, the numbers aren't there for him shooting wise. We all know he's a shooter.
I was going to ask you to reach out to him. You know, I appreciate how efficient you were as a 3-point shooter.
Hey, man,
I think one of your years you were over 40%. So like, I was like,
yeah,
maybe Kenny will slide him a note, you know?
Listen, I don't feel like, I think their best asset that they have is Marcus Page on that bench. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
Just being able to talk to him and work out with him, it's helped me a lot. And you know, it's, you know, just bouncing ideas off of him, seeing what he's thinking, because he's probably one of the top 5 smartest basketball players I've ever been around.
Oh wow.
So it's cool, and it's good that they have him, because, you know, Marcus, he lives this. He truly lives this. Once he, you know, he kind of knew a little bit earlier than it was put out that he was gonna go into retire and go into coaching. So so he was still in Spain last year, and towards the end of the season, he's on, like, he's getting clips, and he's watching coaching videos and coaching tutorials from all kinds of stuff. And I'm just like, man, this dude is. He's going all in with this already, and it's insane. But, you know, Cormac, the one thing that he brings, I think, is toughness, and you could kind of see it in the summers. Like I said, he's gonna defend. He's gonna get up in guys, and then, you know, even if he's not making shots at the clip that we want him to, the fact that he's on the floor and spreading the floor as a threat.
I mean, he's a threat. Yeah, he's a threat.
Yes. Yeah, just the threat of him to where he can get hot and make 3 or 4 or 5 helps the team so much more than, you know, the numbers say. So those two especially, I think, have been big. But I think the one guy, and I think everybody would know where I'm going with this, is freaking RJ. I mean,
what a dog! What a dog!
Oh my gosh! Every summer, it's like, we play pickup, and RJ can just get the ball. He can score however he wants to, and everybody's seeing that now. He's got a little bit more, I think, space this year to do it, and I think that's what's allowed him to take off the way he does. But I mean,
more opportunity as well.
Yeah. I mean, his confidence is just, it's second to none, man. He thinks he can.
Yeah.
But before he does it, there's a belief that I can get my shot off on anybody, and I can make any shot that I want. So
Yeah.
it's not an issue. And I
Right.
mean, that's the incredible part about RJ. He's a smaller guard, but he's tough. You know, the
Yeah.
New York, just like Cormac. I mean, they're just built different. Like their mentality is different from up
Yeah.
north. And you know, you can see it in this game. And anytime, as long as RJ's on the court, then I don't really fear of our offense.
Yeah.
Because
I
he
hate
can
it when
get
he's out.
going.
I hate it
Yeah,
when
I
he's
mean,
out.
it's tough. He's gonna have to play 30, close to 35 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Just because of what he brings. I mean, he's smart. But I think the one thing that's helped him a lot this year is having Elliott on the floor and him not having
Oh, for
to
sure.
always have the ball in his hands. So that takes a lot of the burden off him to where he can say, okay, Elliott can take the ball, start the offense.
Yeah.
I can worry about scoring for this little stretch until, okay, now I need to take over the offense and make sure we get something good out of everything. So I think everybody has just come together, and I think they're figuring it out as the season goes along. And, once guys get more comfortable, Elliott's Jalen Washington, he's been really good this year at times. Seth has been really good this year. He's put in a
That's
lot of
been
work.
great.
And the one common denominator for all of these guys, I think, again, it goes back to Marcus. I think he should get a lot of the credit because I saw it this summer, and I can only imagine how much more to a degree it is now that they're in season. But he's putting guys aside, and he's got 5 clips for them to show them, hey, this is what you're doing, and this is what you should be doing, or this is what you could be doing in this situation. And then he had guys in the gym all the time. So the Marcus and the coaching staff, they get a lot of the credit because those guys work. They're in the gym 2-3 times a day, and all of that. It's just good to see it happening in the summer and to see that work pay off in season for guys like Seth and Elliott, who's starting to get more comfortable. And you see RJ's RJ, and Mondo's Mondo.
Yeah.
But those guys there, they were in the gym all summer, and it's like, okay, I saw them do this, so Seth making the corner 3 at the clip that he's making it isn't surprising.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's nice for the fans because we don't get to see those pickup games. We don't get to see the workout sessions. All we get to see is the finished product. And sometimes that cuts double-edged sword. Guys have been working and then they don't make it, and it just looks like they haven't been making it. But Seth, you can tell he's been really working on his game. His jump has been unbelievable. And in an age where kids can kind of pick and choose, and if there's a little bit of adversity, they can choose a different route, and that's totally okay. It's really cool to see him embrace, hey, I'm gonna stay here, I'm gonna get better, I'm gonna be a very important piece of this puzzle. And he's an incredibly valued, and I just don't think this team would be anywhere close to as good as they are without him on the team. And it's great to see him excel. If you say he's been working hard, so that's awesome. What about Hubert Davis? Like, you got to be ecstatic for Coach Davis.
Yeah, man. I love HD. And for me personally, it's tough to see, some of the social media rumblings and people not really believing in him.
High profile job and just he's a Carolina guy. He had classes with my sister at Carolina. So our family cheers for Hubert heavy. He's like the nicest guy ever.
He is, man. Every time I see him, he's like, "Do you need anything? Can I help you? What do you need? Let me know." I'm just like, man, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just glad I'm here. I'm glad I get to see you. But I'm happy for him, man, because like I said, he's competitive. He's super competitive. And the one thing that he's competitive, but there's 3 people that love Carolina basketball to a level that I've never seen in my life. And that's Coach Williams. Yeah. That's Eric Hoots. And that's Coach Davis.
Yeah.
So there were plenty of times when I was there where he's getting on us because he's like, I want to put the jersey back on. I can only imagine, how it is and how he tries to transfer that energy and that passion to the players now. Because I mean, it's special. And I think if you talk to anybody that's played at Carolina, they'll say they wish they had another year or so just to be able to do it again. But he can take it to another level, and it'll come out of thin air to where he's calm, and the next thing you know, he's all screaming and hyped up. So I'm just happy for him, man, because he cares. He wants this.
Oh, of
He wants
course.
this university to be successful. He wants to win, and like I said, like we talked about, the first couple years weren't as smooth as we want them, but you see in year 3, it's a process, and he was learning on the job, and you can kind of see, like I said, his personality coming through in the team, and that toughness, and he's got the guys playing, I think, the way that he wants them to, and it's been a successful brand of basketball.
Yeah, I'm gonna clip your everybody wants an extra year at Carolina and send it to RJ Davis for the rest of his eligibility, because he's got a COVID year in his back pocket. So
yeah, he's got one more. He's got one more.
I'm gonna start, making sure the NIL is right. We'll make sure that we come correct to the table. Make sure,
Man,
hey RJ, we treat you right.
I would not be opposed to seeing RJ one more year.
No. I mean, I don't know if that blessing is in the cards for us the way he's playing, but if it's something that benefits or behooves him to come back and work on certain things that he might want to work on for the NBA or Europe, we'd be happy to have him. We'd be pleased to have him, and we'll make sure the NIL is right.
Exactly.
Hey, so when you were playing, what are some of the venues in conference that you really enjoyed or you really hated, or that were challenging? Because we've got a tough gauntlet coming up, and with the addition to certain programs and the elevation of certain programs, I feel like the venues change a little bit. Like Clemson is a very challenging place to play, even though they've been a little bit disappointing in conference play. They did pick up a big win today at Florida State, so that's a big win for them. But what were some of the more challenging? I'm sure Duke, Cameron Indoor. I believe you had a 2-point game at Cameron Indoor, if I read that correctly. That might have been at home.
I
know you got off on Duke one time though.
Yeah. I'll say Louisville, I think, was tough because I think they had a bigger crowd, so it was a little bit more loud. Clemson was always tough. We never had an easy game at Clemson, like you said.
I got a chance to play at Clemson in college, so like I just remember that that venue, the kids and the students were right on top of you. It was it was hostile.
That's always when it's the hardest. When the students are closer, that's when it's the toughest, because the students are the loudest, and they'll start throwing their jabs and whatnot.
And the internet is undefeated, bro. The internet is undefeated.
They find whatever they need to find.
They know your girl's name. They know where your mom works. So like, yo,
it's crazy.
Get a little scary.
It's crazy. I'll say I really loved State, because just the satisfaction of winning there, and when the game's in hand and you see the fans leaving early, that's one of the best feelings. But I'll say, man, and I mentioned this to Justin and B-Rob earlier, the teams who aren't necessarily at the top of the ACC, like the Boston Colleges, the Georgia Techs, when you have to go there and play, it's not always the easiest. I remember we lost at Georgia Tech in 2017. I think it was our first ACC game. It's just usually those games are noon games. Usually there's not a lot of fans there. It's harder to get up for it. So it's easy to come out flat in those games. So I'll say those are underrated, tough places to play, just because not necessarily that environment, but that those teams are the lower level teams. They're harder to get up against. So yeah, I mean, everywhere in the ACC is tough, but you've got the Clemsons that are especially tough. And of course, Cameron. I mean, NC State's good. It's nice to win that, but when their fans get into it, it can be a little tougher. It can be loud in there. I remember they went on a 20-0 run against us. I think it was either my junior or senior year, and that place was rocking, but we won and we got the last laugh, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's always nice. Yeah, that's all that matters, man. 1 point or 10 points. We walking out with a dub. That's all that matters.
We got the win.
Now, you mentioned Cameron, and just for anyone that's watching this, or for me, I'm curious as well. What's Duke week like? So I'm very blessed and very fortunate. One of my best friends is Jay Williams, and so I get some intimate knowledge or background into what it's like from the Duke perspective. And I play ball with a guy, Dante Jones, out here in LA still, and he talks to me about it. I'm pretty close friends with C-Booz through some other mutual friends, but I've never really talked to anybody from Carolina about what it's like on y'all's end going into Duke week, because as much as it is a regular season game and it only counts as 1 win, 1 loss, from a fan's perspective, like, it is such a cool week. You think about it all week long. They're playing ESPN Classic plays all week long. They play old Duke Carolina games. There's no other rivalry that I know that they do that for. And I've seen these games 100 times. I've watched the Final Four Duke Carolina game at least 100 times. It's on my DVR right now.
Yeah.
So what's it like from the Carolina side, like gearing up for that?
I won't say it's tough, but there's a little bit of a challenge.
It's got to be challenging to keep it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's always a game before, but that game is always played after they start the promotions. So you see, you see like Duke Carolina, you see the classic games and the promo and everything. And you're trying to stay focused on, that game before. But as soon as that game is over, everybody knows what time it is. everybody knows what time it is. We'll walk into the locker room. Even in the locker room, we'll mention it's like, okay, we got this game out of the way. Win or loss, it's like we know what's coming now. So it's time to start mentally preparing already. And I'll tell you one thing, man, it was really cool for me to see. My senior year, I'm going to class, right? No, I'm not going to class. I think we might have had shoot around or something. It might have been, or game day. Game day was there. Okay. So game day is early in the morning. It's 9:00, and we all, whenever game day came, we like to go and just see how it was and just to be there. So
of course.
Early in the morning, I'm driving through on Franklin Street to go to the arena, and there's people already lined up on the sidewalks at whatever bar or whatever restaurant, just so they can get a spot to watch the game. And I was just thinking, like, man, that's insane. Like, it's 9:00. The game doesn't start until 9 p.m. So they're out there all day trying to get a spot to watch the game. But I mean, that's a home game on the weekend, but there's always one during the week, and it's like you go on campus, everybody's already got their jerseys on. It's just a different buzz on campus, man. Like everybody knows that this game is the one. This is the one that everybody looks forward to all year. Like, regardless of what happens before this game, win this game, please. It's that kind of energy where it's like, man, it's just a different buzz. Everybody, we get super excited, and we try to be super locked in, as locked in as possible, because we know how much it means. We know, what this rivalry means to our school and to the country. But
of course,
I mean, you can just feel the energy on campus when the Duke game is there. It's just like you try to make it a regular day, as regular as possible. But like you said, you can't deny that it's a Duke game, man. Like everybody's gonna be, as soon as that ball is tipped, everybody's locked in, and it's just it's fun, man. It's really fun. That's the type of environment that you live for as a college athlete. Is everybody's ready, everybody's up, everybody's excited. And it's really nice when you're able to come out and get a win and see the energy that you have on campus. We always, whenever we beat Duke, one of the first things we always did is go and try to find pictures of what Franklin looks like, just because, that's a cool tradition that we have, and it's nice to see everybody just excited in one place, just celebrating the win.
Yeah, I would imagine this is a loaded question, but if you had a favorite win at Carolina, I would imagine it came during your sophomore year. But if you had a favorite win or anything that stands out, before I let you go, I'd love for you to share just a little bit about that experience and some of the hardware that you took home as a player.
Man, I think if I had to choose, automatically I think of my two last Duke games at home, the senior night and then my junior year. But I think my junior year, man, I would have to say my junior year. Of course, senior night special, but my junior year was just different because it was the year after the championship, and
I thought you were going to say the championship. I thought you were going to say the championship.
Yeah, I kind of excluded that. I think that's self-explanatory. But
all right, cool.
We that year we were good, but nobody gave us a chance. Even the ESPN, when you go look at the game before, the ESPN gave us this much of a chance to win.
Yeah.
And I mean, they had a lot of hype, as Duke always does. But the game was just fun, man. It was like a back and forth, and I think that was one of the loudest that I've heard the Smith Center. That game. It's funny to me because before the game, to this day, I remember Theo telling me, "Kenny, if you hesitate tonight, I'm gonna punch you in the chest." So, I think that's why you could see, that night I was just letting it ride. I was letting them fly, no matter what. I was open. I was letting it fly.
Yeah, it's going up.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you don't got to tell me twice, Theo.
But tease me with a good time.
So I mean, it all ended up working out, and that was just. It was one of the wins where we had to work super hard. Like, you got Marvin Bagley and Wendell Carter against Luke and Theo. Theo's 6'6", Luke is 6'8". So we just had to work super hard as a team to make it happen. And there's I don't think there's anything other than the championship and whatnot. There's not many moments close to that feeling when Theo dunked the ball at the end of that game. When I tell you, loud, and it's one of those moments where you just kind of black out and you get lost in what's going on, and you just do anything and not be able to remember what happened.
Right.
It was just like that, man, where it's just like, I'm celebrating. I don't care what I do.
Yeah.
I feel great. I feel great. And I've got some, it's just cool, man, because I see one of my favorite pictures from my career is that game. It's got the final score, and I'm running towards the student section, and everybody's like up and dancing. And then you can see in the forefront of the picture is I think it's Chase Rice doing a huge, one of the biggest fist pumps you can see in the picture. And it's just man, that was just a great night. It was the start of a stretch where we might have been 6-5 in ACC play at that point, and we ended up winning. We had a Thursday, Saturday, Monday schedule coming up, and that was the Thursday game, followed by Saturday at NC State. So it was a lot of emotion that went into that game, and it it was just an incredible feeling to go in and beat them. You know, kind of, it was just a great team win to where we just had to work super hard for it. But those are like you know, those are the best wins, the ones that you gotta really work hard for because you cherish them a little bit more, you know.
Yeah, super cool. Well, man, you haven't slept. You got a game coming up. You're so kind to give us your time. You're the man. Still one of my favorite humans. Definitely one of my favorite Tar Heels. Appreciate you, brother. Don't be a stranger. And we'll throw this up on YouTube, and hopefully all your fans and everybody will at least send you a nice note saying we appreciate you giving us the time, man. You're the best.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate it. Hopefully I can come back, man. It's a long season left.
Yeah, man. Yeah, of course. We'd love to have you. I know. My brother-in-law does it with me. He's a graduate and alum of Carolina, and we do like recaps of the games, and we recorded the recap from Boston College, and he's with my sister now, and he's like, man, you gonna? I said, look, this he's like playing in Europe, man. It's like middle of the night.
Yeah.
If he's available, I'm doing it. So we'd love to have you, man. I'll reach back out to you, and hopefully we get you back on here for maybe like an ACC tournament show, and you can talk to us about that, you know?
For sure, man. I'm always down. You just let me know. We can figure it out.
All right. Awesome, man. Well, please take care of yourself. Hopefully you knock down a bunch of jumpers, get some key stops. You were always a really cool two-way player and one of our favorite Tar Heels. So we appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, brother. Be good.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hold.